dorje chanche de lo na ro da ma ba me la che che ga bo ba de sa she ja ken ken karma ba she she join ge je pan ze na da nian da zha mian yin gen da rinpo che riwan pa sam ge xin de chen pa ma mo pa yin lo do ko lo rinpo che norbo rinpo che simo rinpo che sa she
티버침비 러림 답을 타긴 나니 지 답을 타긴마 쇼어 제발라야 근데 다네 상계르베 터미시베니 뭐 전주저도 습기베처럼 시험을차 도움네 대당어 예와도 미버주다 랑유도 초가페님이다 추규주도 라서 주던니부 은디다가 전주저도 습기도 시험하고 대라 전주저도 습기베 땡에 가서는 티버심베르다 대고 꾸조선을 교수송 소소타베도 봐 리듬 가론지다 대마다 멤베심 개발은 주베심기게 땡이라 꾸조선을 교수송 메제다 대만 멤베심기게 땡이 가서 이노 디지시시나 죽바 제발로 멤버원도 들어가버려 전주선 살에 시험하도 멤버원도 깜짝이야 전주 남들이 시험하다 안 주베데는 수수답에도 먹어봐 전주 남들이 시험하다 수수답에도 봐 렘바양 깜짝이야 중앙반주를 시험하다 티바시 비링 멤버 전주서도 심게게 미게워 전주선 살에 시험하대 대나 다 탐지 대신 소
Now, to continue with our teaching of this Mahayana stages of the path, the jewel ornament of liberation, we will continue reading the text from page 135 of the English edition. Now, this will explain the dharma of cultivating the bodhicitta of supreme enlightenment as the antidote to not knowing the method to practice for achieving Buddhahood. The summary, the foundation, essence, classification, objectives, cause, from whom you receive it, method, beneficial effects, disadvantages of losing it, the cause of losing it, method of repairing, and training. These 12 comprise the training of bodhicitta. The first, the foundation for the cultivation of the bodhicitta, resolve of supreme enlightenment, is a person who belongs to the Mahayana family, who has taken refuge in the three jewels, maintains any one of the 7 pratimoksha vows, and has aspirational bodhicitta. These form the foundation from which to cultivate engaged bodhicitta. A person with the qualities of taking refuge, up to taking refuge, has the basis of cultivating aspirational bodhicitta. This is because, as it is mentioned in the Bodhisattva Bhumis, aspirational bodhicitta is required in order to cultivate engaged bodhicitta. The lamp for the path to enlightenment says that refuge must be taken in order to cultivate aspirational bodhicitta. The lamp for the path also says that in order to cultivate engaged bodhicitta, the pratimoksha vows are required. The treasury of Abhidharma says that taking refuge is necessary in order to receive a pratimoksha vow. The Bodhisattva Bhumi states that without the Mahayana family, bodhicitta will not arise even if you rouse it. Therefore, these are all related and need to be assembled.
Tela Damushiana Jirtiba Shiburiya, Charado Risteva Jude, the Yeva Kondo Sheber Chao. Tony by Jamdru Shena. Jefferson Rosante and Jidingi Transaction, some of the Kimju the Mahan Devala Sobam. Tedaga Ram, Chagam Som, Jushila Sovala Nebe, Lalutus and Joseph Draw Cham Shena, taking Gamma, Gamma, the Chigato Dole. Jidian and the Ridan and Asatan and Cheney. Kungadane doa de Jushila la Jamdru, Jody so my soon so. Wanam Pamanida Nyendola Soba, Rana Tseshi, Pembergawan, Jefferson Drum Shana, Tiga Gam Middle Day, Jamba number of Dole, Pamachuki Gama in Zashi Salanam Jam. Tedak in the cube on the children of Shindu, soon so, taking Gam Middle of Chi Shana. Captain Koran Jibale, Tarwa, Dunga Mevajigo, the Teguan Jibale Matters, Dunga Jebeshiro, then the Dunga Dendo Tower, Sangelime, Sangel Lam Chelime, Chechever Trouble Gindulime, Consul and Joseph George, Tedria, Jijun Gibus and the Gami Gabe Sangela, Shadow Social Gidulity in Captain George, soon so. One corner Gabe Nibangaya, Dark Captain Chimbi. Job Nesam Yam Tizum is a day. Dodin Yang de Sile, which was some like Gelson, Jibome or Topper, you say, soon so. Tena Tesum like Gelson Draw, Chebala, say soon so.
Generally, one should have the Mahayana family, but in particular, one should also have the family or potential that is awakened. These should be understood as explained above in the first chapter. To explain the second topic, the source of refuge, you may ask whether to go for refuge to the powerful deities Brahma, Vishnu, Mahadeva, and so forth, or to the powerful deities and nagas of one's own country who abide in the mountains, boulders, lakes, or trees, and so forth. These are not sources of refuge because they cannot give you refuge. In a sutra it says, worldly beings take refuge in the deities of mountains, forests, shrines, rocks, and trees, but these are not the primary refuge. Should you take refuge in your parents, relatives, friends, and so forth, those who are kind to you and benefit you, they also will not give you refuge. The representation of the manifestation of Manjushri Sutra says, parents are not your refuge, nor are relatives and friends. They will leave you and go to their own destinations. Why can't they give refuge? In order to give refuge, one should be free from all fear and have no suffering. These beings are not free from all fears and are in a state of suffering. Therefore, Buddhas are the only ones who are completely free from suffering. Dharma is the only path for the practice of Buddhahood, and the Sangha is the only guide to Dharma practice. Therefore, we take refuge in these three. Thus in a sutra it says, from today take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, who protect those without protection and dispel the fear of those who are afraid. Even though they may have the power to give refuge, if I go to them for refuge, will they really protect me? There is no reason to doubt this. The Sutra of the Great Parinirvana says, those who go for refuge to the three jewels will achieve the state of fearlessness.
Tela Tambu Jamdru Yawani, Tumo Jamdru, the Shabri Jamdru, Tengi Hasala, Tila, Tena Tesum Joseph Chabala, Domne, Yawatenda Yuda to Samba Choka Chevele, Labzatana Pay, Tenamui Jamdru Shes, Sheva, Tela Tambo, Jamdru Yawani, Tumo Jamdru, the Shabri Jamdru, Tengi Hasala, Tumo and Tengi Hasan, Koy doing in Jishi, Pujoson, Larzabanos, Cabardi Tengi Hasan, Tibas in Buddhism, Lemi Nabartawa Tobanos. Yulaya Nile, Tumo Yuchebala, Sangi Gujon, Bamba the Ishi, the Chevet, and Pusum Soba, the Sangi Jumden Denam, Deso. Chokujola Nile, Tembe Cheni, one of Yala Juni, So tokbe shen lamje denpa da gobe denpa o. Gendyu kuncho la nyi susu kiwi gendyu ni genlong nambar taba shiyin chi choba yin. Pabe gendyu ni kibu sushi ya yeba ta ko. Kebar ki yun dyu na shube yu da ngombar taba yu da tekona nyi yu da sumu. Teyalan dyu na shube yu ni sangye di shibe kusu chuen tikwa shimbe bodi. Gendyu ni chanchu sambe gendyu. Ngombar taba yu ni sangye ni kusum ki da nyi chena chuen ni tambe shi shiwa da yangen da deba. 겐두니 사셔벌 내비 전수서 봐. 대권이 유용한도 잖아. 교수도 유는 상계예지 인노. 대들에 대보시 부규라말에. 담배 되는 저 임는 상계예지 송소. 와나 상계 게 땡기 교수도 지지잖아. 두 추기 구진 초전티 태도 지시 송대. 두 번은 gen가배 넘버 차원 되자다 저거. 추기 구진 미치는 담배 갭이 인라. 티버시 초어양. 티버시 초어양. 죽은 넘버 타고 타도가 톱에 타르침을 기회지 담배 겹이 있는 원아 최대기 땡기 겹만 샤 마이놈시는 귀라만 최남니다 밥에서 땡기 겹셔만 시 송소 지실 땡기 겹셔만 샤나 최라니에 발라 땡배션이 민기소다 이게 소인 별람 드레스는 생들 방사인비 땡기 겹만 봐 도배셔라 니래 남제 대만 주제인비 미다데 루이 주제인 비지 겸마에는 고배 대반 연대별로 주만 메시어 균체도 되বে 매베지 땡기 겸마에는 겐듀네 코라야 코엔 지그니 상게를 접수 송아인데 지제인 비지 땡기 겸마에는 대들의 유엘라말 방지 루이 주제인 메지 지다 제비 전합니다 봐서 땡기 겹쳐마에는 시 송소 되나 로변 통매기 시에는 미세비 겸 다비 겸 용종 겸 담배 겸니 지니 되다데 지지배안도 좀 상기 다주배안도 좀 상기해서 해서서 원나 공도 접숨도 숨하는 게 알아서는 걔네 유지 장외도 중앙인데 타바 신변 도래 도나 점리 지 탑기는 숨모시에 송소
Therefore, this will explain how to take refuge in these three. The summary is classification, working basis, sources, time, motivation, ceremony, activities, training, and beneficial effects. These 9 comprise the explanation of taking refuge. In the classification, there are 2 categories of refuge, the common refuge and the distinctive refuge. The working basis, there are also 2 different working bases. The common working basis is the one who fears the suffering of samsara and holds the 3 jewels as deities. The special or distinctive working basis is a person who possesses the Mahayana family and the pure body of the gods or humans. The sources of refuge. There are 2 sources of refuge. The explanation of the common sources of refuge. The common sources are the Buddha, the jewel of the Buddha, the Bhagavan, the exalted one who possesses the perfection of purification, wisdom, and greatness. The jewel of the Dharma, which has 2 parts, the teachings, which are the 12 branches of Dharma, and the Dharma of realization, which consists of the truth of the path and the truth of cessation. The jewel of the Sangha also has 2, the ordinary Sangha, which is a community of 4 or more bhikkhus, and the noble Sangha, which is the 4 pairs or 8 individuals. The distinctive objects of refuge. The distinctive objects of refuge are the sources abiding before us, those with full realization and suchness. In the first category, the objects that are in front of us, the Buddha is an image of the Tathagata, the Dharma is the Mahayana scriptures, and the Sangha is the community of bodhisattvas. In the state of full realization, the sources are the Buddha as the embodiment of the 3 kayas, the Dharma as the piece of the precious noble Dharma and Nirvana, and the Sangha, which consists of bodhisattvas who have attained the great bhumis. In terms of the source of refuge that is suchness, the only source of going for refuge is the Buddha. As it says in the Supreme Continuum, ultimately the refuge for beings is the Buddha alone. Is the Buddha able to be a lasting refuge? As it is said, because the sages have the Dharmakaya, and the Sangha is ultimately that. Because the sages are unborn, pure, and free of desire, they have the Dharmakaya. They are the highest refuge. The Sanghas of the three vehicles also ultimately achieve the pure Dharmakaya and eventually become it, so that is the highest refuge. Are neither the Dharma nor the Sangha then lasting refuges, you ask? From the Supreme Continuum. The two types of Dharma and the noble Sangha are not the supreme lasting refuge. Why are they not the lasting refuge, you ask? Of the two types of Dharma, the Dharma of teachings is an assembly of words or an assembly of phonemes, so it is discarded after you have traversed the path like a boat. Thus it is not a lasting refuge. The Dharma of realization also has two types, of which the truth of the path is composite and thus impermanent and a deceptive phenomena. Thus it is not a refuge. The truth of cessation is asserted in the listener vehicle to be discontinuous, like a lamp going out. So since it is non-existent, it is not a lasting refuge. The Sangha itself fears samsara and goes for refuge to the Buddha, so it is not a lasting refuge. As it is said in the Supreme Continuum, the Uttara Tantra Shastra, because they are given up in deceptive, non-existent, and fearful. The two types of Dharma and the noble Sangha are not the supreme, lasting refuge. Therefore, Master Asanga stated, there is one inexhaustible refuge, permanent refuge, constant refuge. It is this, the Tathagata, Arhat, completely perfect Buddha. But doesn't this contradict saying above that there are the three refuges, you ask? That is said in order to guide disciples. The Sutra of the Great Liberation says, in brief, there is one refuge. As a means, there are three.
탑이 숨도 지다샤전 티버침을 유라마래 템바 템발랍도 티버 숨도 쳐서 몇번을 요와 제수 넘버 샤와이 시송데 연대 숨도 티버 숨도 제바 숨 몇번 숨 요와 샤와이인데 템베 연대 템베 된도 제수스베 티베 가사다 상계의 초도 샤와 쳐봐 몇번을 요와도 쳐는 상계 개비인데 거니 남지 초 상계를 계속 쳐셔서 템베 연대 템베 된도 라게기 티베 가사다 쳐라 초도 샤와 쳐봐 몇번은 요와도 쳐나 쳐 개비인데 되자다 자원은 미쳐 최래 계속 쳐셔 러베 연된 대배되는 니들기 대배 가사다 긴들로 쳐도 자와체 매번도 쳐는 긴들 개비인데 초는 이쳐 긴들로 계속 쳐셔 대들 된 넘버 숨기 가사 중고wan도 쳐는 계속 넘버 샤바데네 좀 된데 이 군수부담도 심지어는 특별한 음기 쇼버도 송바 이노
How there are three, then how then are there these three as a means, you ask? From the Mahayana Uttara Tantra Shastra. Because of the teacher, teachings, and students, the three refuges are presented in terms of three vehicles, three activities, and interests. That is presented thus in terms of three qualities, three vehicles, three activities, and three interests. In order to demonstrate the qualities of the teacher, the Buddha is the refuge for persons of the Bodhisattva vehicle and those who are interested in performing the supreme activities of a Buddha. They take refuge in the Buddha, the supreme among those with 2 feet. In order to demonstrate the qualities of the teachings, the Dharma is the refuge for persons of the Prateka Buddha vehicle and those who are interested in the work of the Dharma. They take refuge in the Dharma, the supreme among all freedoms from attachment. In order to demonstrate the qualities of the practitioners, the Sangha is the refuge for persons of the hearer vehicle and those who are interested in the work of the Sangha. They take refuge in the Sangha, the supreme of all communities. Thus these three are laid out by the three meanings and three and actions according to the six types of people. Exalted Bhagavan said this in a conventional state in order that all sentient beings could gradually enter the different stages of the vehicles.
다제자한테 겸줄 거디 드네 심게 le trevi imbere simge ten 다 류젠의 심된 시에 걸려야 심된 섬을 심된 검류 최버르지 이래를 주임이다.
So here the subject of going for refuge is presented as an aspect of the topic of bodhicitta. It is in terms of the explanation of the physical support and the mental support for arousing bodhicitta, it is presented as the mental support.
드네 주산에 지당 겸졸이야. 티버티모가 겸조당 티신 겸조스. 다 드리에블레. 검들이야 이제 티버심비 겸조. 티버심비 구조술이야. 겹수송 친치엘래야. 드네 티버심비기 심게 되게 가수에 디 최고 알아요. 드레인 주산에 티싱이 겹습니다디 다 내지도 봐버려지. 드레 차디 알아요. 대양 빼나 개방함으로 차샤입니다. 아니 전이 개버첨보질이야 겹슈입니다. 개버첨보질 응아올래. 대네 개버첨보들이야 겹슈입니다. 엔더지 개버틀이야 디스 가루 텐더지 되고 텐더지 다가난 신기 아주 구조숨 티버심이 구조숨을 껴서 좋아하대 개버침벌이야 겹슈비도 지고체 아니 멤버심게 조버심게 도발렘바디 아니 개버틀이야 텐자와 또 차디 알아서 this 드린 도나 티버신 묘기 겸로다 티버신 묘기 심게에 대해 내가 지도 바버르지 고유자
Now in going for refuge there is the common going for refuge and the distinctive going for refuge, the Mahayana going for refuge. So here we're primarily talking about going for the Mahayana refuge. Once we have gone for the Mahayana refuge, then we need to develop the resolve of Mahayana bodhicitta. And so in this way, the Mahayana refuge and the Mahayana bodhicitta come down to the same point. It's like in the old days, you would ask a king for protection, and when you asked for the king for protection and became underneath their dominion, then you would have to pay the king a tax. So in this way, going for the Mahayana refuge is the same as asking a king for protection. And aspirational and engaged bodhicitta are like paying the king the tax. And so in this manner, the going for refuge, going for the Mahayana refuge and bodhicitta come down to the same point.
tinsan 다들 마셔주세요. 아이고. 다지당기 지 교육가의 지주기 계획 된주 탐지 저는 겸주명아 겸주냠래 겸주명아 되바 샤다인 드린 주산에 디규젤 되네 에너지 다 최탐지기 닝부스네 다도 다나 신기 최탐지 자와서는 다도 다디 겸주 차디요래
Now all all of the words of the Buddha and all of the treatises written by his followers are only instructions on going for refuge. They're only about the practice of going for refuge. For this reason, the essence of all Dharma, or the foundation of all Dharma, is going for refuge.
다들이야 타게나를 숨어든시 예와된의 유대도 삼바초가 체벨이 초가 삼바초가 체벨을 납자 단의 배윤지에스 배윤디 되는구이 겸도 되는구이 거는 겸도 되나요 그래도 이 산타 통마디 겸도 예와스 겸도 들이야 des 개발을 왕부지 겸도 예와된 남래.
Now in the Jewel Ornament of Liberation, it gives a summary at the top of page 139, which reads the classification, the working basis, the sources, time, motivation, ceremony, activities, training, and benefits. These 9 comprise the explanation of taking refuge. And so the first of these 9 topics is the classification, and here it teaches the 2 different types of going for refuge.
갑들이야 타게나 놀래야 잠주이와 들려야 되네 가르쳐지 투모기 잠주다 개브라기 잠주스 남바니 샤는 요래 다 개브라기 잠주사데 티버 티진 투모메 잠주 투모 잠주사데 티버 투모메 잠주치를 고하는 숨마면서 삼정도.
And so in the Jewel Ornament of Liberation, it says that there are 2 types of going for refuge, the common going for refuge and the distinctive going for refuge. So the distinctive going for refuge is the particular refuge or the special refuge of the Mahayana. And the common refuge is the refuge that is common to all the vehicles.
단디 잠주 친이번 고하는 샤나면 조som. 지 캡슨 로와 잠주 섬이 이미나 아니 다 가수에 다고 여 망부치 잠주 섬이 비나 베는 직격이 잠주다 리메기 잠주다 다들 수임이네 잠주 잘 샤초면로 접수로 정리 잘 샤초이 길성.
Now this, I think, is talking only about the authentic going for refuge. Now generally, if we talk about just going for refuge, merely going for refuge, there are other types as well. For example, going for refuge out of fear, and going for refuge for an aspiration for the better. These too are also included as can be included as types of refuge, I believe.
다 티버 투모에 잠도 tel이네요. 기부 중요의 잠도다 기분 증기 잠도라서 봐. 다들이 샤샤 이사서 참기에.
And within the common going for refuge, you can also consider that there is the refuge of the lesser persons and the refuge of the intermediate persons.
대래양, 박갑수로 유시에 걸라. 예와 되나, 너 갑수로 유시에 걸려야. 갑수로 유대 남유 직보다 대바스. 남바니 송다. 다들 조디 티보티모에 대겸주 유르스면도 다 티지티모에 발이야. 니지 샤네 메르스 게면도. 다 지당기 티보티모 와도 셔비나. 아니 겸주 유래 직보다 대바스.
Now, this is, in terms of discussing the causes of going for refuge, often the causes are presented as 2, going for refuge out of fear and refuge out of faith. These 2 are in terms of the common going for refuge. In terms of the distinctive or the special going for refuge, I think we can also, it would not be contradictory to say that compassion can also be a cause for going for refuge. But in the common vehicle, in the common going for refuge, the causes are said to be 2, the fear and going for and faith.
직과 다 드리주산에 다 건터가 원수는 신기 jam주기 규체대야 특히 니 지금 대만이 어디 가래 자 너나 규조니 단지 규모요 규조니.
So as I was saying before, there are two primary causes of going for refuge, fear and faith. There are many causes, of course, but these two, fear and faith, are the primary causes.
대라야, 나 기부충 가장 막听起来这需要的不轻松。基不穷的了呀，就做派年纪做起的派不了起年前，做的呢，那搞出来做的搞啥呢？是呢，那这最起码平均上班的这，人送送给东爱个机关，那真的是够样的。他呢，人送送给东爱个机关，真的是瞎拿的。다 패바데 가라사나 선디나 세치마 펜세기 바지 삼는 무동게 세디 집이 삼동네게 근데지 지 요사래 드네 뉴스나다 딘상 düzülü야 지 세치마 펜지 삼는 방는지 예소송 그 동에라 서버라 삼텔 삼네 델은 지신 따네 텔레 차원도 로 계산데 하고 싶지 않아요. 신다 파샤는 알아주 가르쳐다 최바로 롬바섬으로 아주 최바 인생에게 대해서래 되지 매번 인두산에 뜻이 가고 싶지 않아요. 제자다 딘상가 düzül이야 된데 가르쳐 다 천딜이야 셴바여바 뒤주체도 야 지금 담배 쉬기 봐 편도를 주야 가려 즉 천딘 마다 상로 마동게 뒤주체도 있냐 이제 담배 쉬고 공연은 이제 편도 주야로 가려 봐 근데 토리야지 가서지 상로를 동과하되 개좀 차려야 되기 뭐마이미나 아니지 최바스도 산에 이제 가서다지 세치마 페이지에 삼도 안 되게 진짜지 고그레스 진짜지 민다 최바 민시 송버래 다 이면에 등상 미망체에 세치마 페이지에 삼도 동거 매비 인상 아니 바지 최바스야데 냐 맹게를 차로도 근데 인도산에 디균살 때네 다야 진짜 제 양배 드네 인도산 천디난 게 샴바진 디주셔도 이면에 안 담배 취고 하는 바 편도 주야 하려요 봐 진짜 토리야 지 도선 야심 시하고 할 있어요. 텔레야 자주 삼번 넘기 자주 선배 되는 날 가르쳐 알아서나 천디난 게 샴바제 천디마다 상마당에 디주체도 있네야 자주 삼번 넘기 지 가르쳐에 지 야 대줄에 펜베체도 야 연대 롭종 체네 대줄에 펜버 주야 근데 송여비 그래.
Now, as I have mentioned before, when we talk about the lesser type of person, so the lesser type of person, actually, there can be described as two different types of these. There's the primary lesser person, and then there is the ordinary lesser person. The primary lesser person is someone who is primarily interested in the future, in the next life and future lives. Someone who is afraid of the sufferings of the lower realms and wishes to be freed from that suffering. The ordinary lesser person is someone who is interested primarily in happiness in this life. Someone who does not think about this life, but is only who does not think about future lives, but is only attached to the pleasures of this life. And so, for this reason, if you these days it is difficult to find people who are interested only in the future lives and who think about the terrors of the three lower realms, and then who wish to achieve liberation from that. That is difficult these days, and so generally. if we who are Dharma practitioners aren't even able to do that, then that's probably there aren't anyone, there are very few, or there isn't anyone like that. These days, we need to find some true Dharma that will be beneficial for even those who are attached to this life. Those people who are there, we must find some way to benefit those people who are attached to this life and who through the true Dharma. So in the past, it was said that in order to be a Dharma practitioner, you must be not interested in this life and only interested in avoiding the lower realms in the future lives. If you were not like that, then you weren't a Dharma practitioner. But nowadays, there really isn't anyone like that, and so we can't really say that anymore. So in this way, we need to find some manner to bring benefit via the Dharma for those people who are attached to this life, for those people who think only of this life. We need to find what benefit the Dharma can bring them. As it is said in the scriptures of the Bodhisattvas, the Bodhisattvas also need ways to find, to bring benefit to those people who are attached to this life and who only think about the needs of this life.
어떤 님이 유산에 다 기부 충을 대 조디 예수 숨이 동에 지부지 되는 기본 진대 코에 동에 지부지 코와 타다 동에 계란신도 통해 아니 텔레 타원 가서다지 탄대 올라 서머베 텔렌 지시다베 로직이 아주 드리치세 다 되네 기부 첨부디 시시 니게 지보를 들리지 스바다 시외 니게 지보를 다 들리지 고래도 송요하래.
And so it is said that the lower person is primarily includes those people who are afraid of the three lower realms in their future lives. The middling type of person includes people who are afraid of the suffering of samsara, people who see that the nature of all of samsara is suffering and wish to be liberated from that, who are terrified and afraid of that. And the greater type of person includes those people who are afraid of both extremes of existence and peace.
다 대한지 고아자마이다. 진짜게 지구에서 고아자마이다. 다나 신기 같이 돼서 마이다. 닝 타고네 소머베. 그랑 균생예베 토네. 되네 러니 녀송 동에를 지고다. 되네 대달을 껴베 뉴바. 녀송 동에를 껴베 뉴바. 그저숨을 이체 되지 충분히입니다. 아니 기부 중요하게 감주규 상교 아래 따드네 동해의 군중기 동해기 때마다 군중의 댐베게 가서지 니주지 양고 하고에 토네 코와 타다 동해기는 신도 토네 대달을 껴변 뉴바 군조숨을 이체하디 되네 기본 증기 감주규 상교 아래 되네 다 코알의 죄와 심지 코알의 죄액이 되네 기부침부들이야 녀란 라좀 받다 탐지 다 시줍기 소머에 시줍이 마트와 인두산에 다 시제 집에 직세는 라도 야나니 지 시와 초지고 진짜게 가서 인지고 인두산에 된지고 통하는 텔레 텔레비전 미세비 니지게네 데르비 시와초지 호텔에 껴베 니바 구조숨레 여베 이체베 대바데다 기부 신비기 ямдрюгю 데제빈 ямдрюгю 상야레스
And the fear shouldn't just be a mere understanding. It shouldn't be just mouthing of fear. It should be fear that really comes from the depths of your being. And it really has to be fear that comes from recognizing the reasons for this, and then having the wish to protect oneself from that fear, and recognizing that it is the three jewels that have the So when we recognize the suffering of the three lower realms, we have fear of them, and then we realize that the three jewels have the power to protect us from that suffering. That fulfills the cause of the going for refuge for the lesser type of people. When we understand the situation or the nature of the truths of suffering and the origin, then we will understand that all of samsara is by nature suffering. And when we are afraid of that, then we recognize that the three jewels have the power to, or the ability to protect us from that suffering, then that becomes the cause of the refuge for the middling type of person. When we're afraid of not just all of samsara, not just wishing to free ourselves from our suffering, but when the great person recognizes recognizes the obscurations of the type of peace of the listeners and the self-Buddhas, and then wishes to be free from just that unilateral peace, and sees that type of peace with fear, and then develops unbearable compassion, then the greater person recognizes that it is the three jewels that have the power to protect them from that unilateral peace, and this becomes the cause of refuge for the greater person.
다들 티고치면 상아를 찾아뵙이나 잠들기디 다천디니에서 말해 다티안 티고치면 내주 라면도 찾아뵙어 내주 라면 잠들기도 가능하잖아 천디니에야 심제는 껴베 뉴바랑이 기마토베이미나 심제 탐지 되네 지 개발 참여해볼래야 되네 동해기 무튜는 지 동해기 너게요 봐 되게 니즈 삼로 땅에 근데 니지 개발지 이게 되네 뉴라니도 심지어 담지 뉴라니도 상계 공부하러 네 지금은 지마로 냠바로 되게 니지 개발지 이게네 대단히 껴변 뉴바 대다 기좀 딱한다 천디니라 되네 상계 탑변 뉴바 구조선을 여바 이체바 다디 상하게 겸주기 다들르지 샤나야 남주들이 숨겨와라 다들르지 인사래.
Now, in terms of the secret Mantravajrayana aspect of the Mahayana, when we talk about the cause for refuge, it is in terms of the unexcelled Yoga Tantra, it is wishing to achieve it in this lifetime. In this lifetime, if we do not achieve Buddhahood in this lifetime, then we will not have the ability to protect other sentient beings. And if we do not achieve that ability to protect other sentient beings in this very lifetime, then they will experience and they will be tormented by suffering for innumerable eons. And so thinking about this, then we develop really superior compassion or intense compassion. And so we think, then we think to ourselves, then what can we do to quickly bring sentient beings to the state of Buddhahood? Wouldn't it be great if we could do that? And we develop the extraordinary compassion. The extraordinary compassion that is the wish to achieve Buddhahood in this very lifetime in order to protect all these sentient beings. We recognize that it is the three jewels that have the power to bring us to do that and go for refuge. And so this is commonly asserted to be the cause of going for refuge for the secret mantra Vajrayana.
Tana ke teba janga jube na ke tsik di kare kanshi la ni nyeba ke teni yongye minga shing kala naba tamze de yonde tamze ne giru kade simshi yuena ni tingi la ni kyamdru tejo tene gowa ta tene te la never res je da de tsije jare dadi tunda dodoro de kare sana 미지레스 다 메카사 간지레야스 고라 차당게 초리 마이미체 나 남바당 나지 남바 마이바사 근데 초리 마이미체 오늘 로스르네 베고나 로스르네 베고나 오늘은 짬내 양다 가르렌도 미도 진짜게 베지 가서 딱제 제신게야 딱제 제베 남주에 된게 근데 진비입니다. 전에 덤바 저버상이 좀 된데 녀몽의 시제 집에게 되네. 주마 탐제 방바 섬으로에. 나 주마 탐제 방바. 단 너나 다 전다 동로 데레샤. 균균세 연된 군디사데. 나가나 균균세 연된 군디엔게 상기 좀 된데라 겹수 저거래서 로소르 네버드리잖아 다 로소르만 해비시 상당한들이 제비입니다 에너지 가르소에 소소기 충진시네 겹수 저거로 마다베 아니야 가르소에 겹수에 봐 이미 되게 딱지셔 봐 오늘은 인도산 이제 겹수 저거래서 단들이소요 알아 다디 가르친 거라서나 가르소다지 거라 겹내 이미기 教学吧，移民啥的，教学着容没有啥的，大型界呢，大型界别团呢，教学吧人多呢，一起下，教学吧人没多呢，一起没下，到那rangi ji，假如냠냠菜嘛当，当然是应该军事菜嘛来啊，点些，特别结果也没人说了。
There is a quotation in the 150 verses of quotation that describes how we need to go for refuge, and the main point of this refuge of this quotation is that if there is someone who goes for refuge, someone who is truly going for refuge without discriminating based upon their own likes and dislikes, based upon their own attachments and aversions, someone who does not have a bias between Buddhist and non-Buddhist, but who has the actual intelligence and discernment to be able to distinguish what is the true source of refuge, and they're able to do this with an unbiased mind, then that person will see that our teacher, the Bhagavan Buddha, has eliminated all of the stains of the two obscurations, the afflictive and cognitive obscurations. Basically, they see that the Bhagavan Buddha is someone who has eliminated all of his faults and perfected all of his qualities, and sees that one who has done that is the Buddha. Now, this has to be someone who is doing it with an unbiased mind. Otherwise, if we have a bias to thinking that we're Buddhist or something, and then we go for refuge in that, then we aren't really considering whether or not they truly are sources of refuge. So we need to consider and examine whether the sources of refuge truly are sources of refuge. It is important to see whether they are worthy of going or able to give us refuge, whether they are sources of refuge. And if we see that they are truly sources of refuge, then we should believe in them. If we see that they are not sources of refuge, then we should not believe in them. In any case, we should consider and examine them based upon our own experience and based upon reasonings. And only after that should we have faith in them.
다되기 대바디 계시면 봐. 대바디 교조인 버직되는 거 유스래. 너나 어디급이야 될 최니 감해주시 잡으셔야. 대바 양아주 버사디. 대바 야당아주 버사디. 쇼로가 야당아 주면로. 디균전된 대바 야당아 주바 다음면로 송. 간다라 대바 양아 주버사디. 러베 머디 젠데자르. 러베 머디 젠데디 로빈 보우다 남경 아주 여기 로빈 보우다 로빈 머디 젠다니 집었어요 저로 로빈 보우서 아주 아래한데 로마 로빈 땅디 로빈 보우레스라로 다 로빈 보우레스 제자 대바 양아주 번생에 대한 그래 아란데 로마 되네 로변 땅아레스 다 예배이네요 다 팅상 계제만 루규 세만 또 윤주산 딱다란 데요만다 딱다란 데요만 로변 마디 젠다사디 로변 마디 젠다사디 마시네다 아버지를 총유다 아버지를 총 아니 로변 통맥이 군시에게 내려 총대부터 니제샤 되네 상계 좀 된데기 롱대베 상계 좀 된데 상계 지된도 최백걸이야 아니 지우지기 디텐지 즉 사자들 배도자 지우지기 개념 뭐 잡네 베게 개념 뭐 잡세 딱 간다 개념 뭐 잡되면 주사 텔레시니 마음바르디 지우디 마음바르 알아야 되바 챙긴기 미디 밀리게네 개바청부찬 알아야 되바 냥아 되바 정보를 지들 롱댐 어다 드리 주산디 러베 머디자르사디 상계가 롱댐 가사들이 제샤 공긴 제비 되바 장어 주바사디 개왕어 야할이야 개라청부시위에 티버치 중 이와면 참여기 룬진치르스 로라심니 안 참여기디 령거레스 깨라심시 소변 초랑기 공기 제수 준비 소변 초랑기 디 되바 장어 주바데 시그니 베공 가서 델레베 투 시버지 녜네 투 계속 심부 주네 되는 빼만라 되바사 다 벽에 띵줄 나네 와래 빼말로 되어서 자르스 빼마되어
And so the faith is an extremely important, it's one of the primary causes of going for refuge. Now, to have a digression here, these 150 verses in praise by the master Matichandra, there are 150 stanzas, so it is called the 150 verses in praise, and it was written by a master named Matichandra. Now, often we say that this Matichandra is the same as the Acharya Ashvaghosha. So, Ashvaghosha was a student of Aryadeva. So Aryadeva was a student of Nagarjuna. Aryadeva had a student who is said to have written these 150 verses, and that would be Ashvaghosha. However, though this is commonly said, if we look at it in terms of the historical records, it does not really stand up. Actually, the master Matichandra was earlier than that. he appeared before Asanga and his brother, before Asanga and Vasubandha. Now, he was an individual who was predicted or prophesied by the Buddha. In the past, when the Buddha was present in this world, one day there was a bird that was singing a really beautiful song. The Buddha saw this bird and then prophesied, in the future, this bird will be reborn as a being who will write a great praise of me. He will sing. He will be a great scholar who will write a great praise of me. And so that praise that he mentioned was these 150 verses, and the scholar was the scholar named Matichandra. And so he is an individual who was prophesied by the Buddha. Now, the 150 verses in praise became very, very well known in India and very well loved by masters and disciples of all the different schools of Buddhism, the Great Vehicle and the Foundation Vehicle. In fact, many people memorized these 150 verses of praise. The master Dignaga read these 150 verses of praise and was so pleased and and liked them so much that he himself composed his own praise, which is called In Praise of the Lotus.
Tsiki chane nyambo yoba, tuyen chane ta kata sabo yoba dindishi gong tu nyeba shibichong. Setan paben cholangi di shologa ririgi, teba gyanga jubi shologa ririgi karjura jing gole ya chuwa nirwa chiki, shologa ririgi zamsham. Tata di nge, tangi nge gyorde ya gyamdruyo gorde. Gyamdruyo gorde shidwa. Onda di nge gorde le yimini ya, tingta mebe kwa na chusin laso kharsaya. Chusin laso jiruwa sa tsiksi jota kanda chene chuandabuchi ane di teba janga juba de lengi sobi cheche dili tina pema teba saade gyumzendi pema chene konga chua chikche dine diyagi teba janga juba nane yang tsiksi chik sha yang dili pema chene pema sido reme rupu cheche reme rupu cheche dili chi kongi jingze namde pema 제자 디기 치수 아주 벽이 개보 망보지기 디디 추지 나 초지는 가스게면 아주 추도서래 가라잖아 어다 빼만을 되버사데 얘는 잠데 되버 장어 주버 제를 잠です가라선 빼만 되버데 좋은데 차대로 되버 장어 주버데 랜드 차대에서 저왕년의 연구도 마도지기 저왕년의 많이 랭에 자시서 말았어 드린 주산에 디레 토네 네 gyanga juba da ngena karso pemalo de ngena so gyanga juba jer chumore sa ji sungsha tati ko inea lugyu ge ma kurimche tati ngada uma jagal yoman ngeda singa marade ti karina yorase lobin yijingi jana lozo chimbu yijing de tyrup duba gebe na de chungde bichre kongi 디리시 고 세브 수나야래 아니 고로디 중림디 상물로 세브 시 수나야래 대삼도 마스베 콘나렌 나렌달이야 슈베가로 되바 장어 주바디 작게 돌 규르제 다들 자나기 근주 때 가서 근주 샘도 다가 자나기 데네 숨기 젤이야 주요하래 디남도 세브 시라 수나야래 나드린 주산에 디준센 데네 되바 장어 중에 총무체 엔델이야 로벤 초랑기 딩고리아다 그 주에 처럼 지금 사람들을 진짜
I'd like to make a correction. The title of that praise is not In Praise of the Lotus, but the alternating praises. So these alternating praises were written by Dignaga. So Dignaga had seen the 150 verses in praise, and he realized that both the words and meanings were really wonderful. The words were incredibly beautiful, and the meaning was incredibly profound. And so for that reason, he was very delighted by this. And so for each of the verses in praise, before each of the verses in praise, he wrote a question. And so this verse that I cited was one that is on the subject of going for refuge. And so the verses one about that which is deep and endless and so forth. So he wrote a question that was then followed by a stanza from the 150 verses. And so there is an alternation between the questions that were written by Dignaga and then the answers that came from the 150 verses. And so they alternate from one to the other. And so for that reason, it is called the alternating praises. Now, later, when the Tibetan masters started studying this, they got a little confused by this. They mixed it up a little bit. Now, we can't really fault them for this. It happens from time to time. But when they looked at it, they saw that basically they thought that the alternating praises had to have come earlier because these were all questions. And you have to have the questions first before you can have your answers. So they said that the questions and the alternating praise came first, and then the 150 praises were written later. And so this is how they explain it. They say that the questions had to come first, the alternating verses were written, alternating praises were written first, and then later the 150 were written in response. But if we look at history, we see that this is not how it actually happened. And it's not that I was in India and know for myself. Instead, this is clearly explained in the travelogues of the Chinese master I Ching, who came to India in the 7th or 8th century. He came and when he came, he wrote how beautiful the 150 praises were. Not only that, he also translated the 150 verses in praise into Chinese, and they are now included in the Chinese canon. So he carefully explained the history and explained how the 150 verses in praise came earlier, and that Dignaga's alternating praise was written later as adding the questions before each verse of praise.
단도나 지고 예발을 때는 지고 예발을 때는 겹천져 강기 중국에 대화 예발을 때는 되네 가르에 겹선 좀더 강기 용기를 했어. 다들 인도스탄에 겹쳐와디 겹천져 용알이야 지고 예발인자 지과 대기 다외 겹지 구도 삼제 고 겹지 천적이 셈데 안다 고 랑이 기거래서 다 대바대기 가르쳐 버렸잖아. 대바대기 되네 된데 지과 대래 겹투베기 짬내지 여바지 가르쳐 줄 체내 예비미나 될래야 겹 순뇌다 겹순 정도 안가 좀 그랬어. 근데 디균셀 때는 지대니보다 겸주 교조인 자고 유무스 들으시인 다 네가 대바대야 대바들이야 지당 이시에 대바샤나 또 이시에 대바.
And so if we have, because of fear, then we develop the wish to go for refuge. When we have faith, then we are willing to accept the source of refuge as a refuge. And so, in order for us to want to seek refuge, we first have to have fear. Because we have fear, we wish to find a refuge that will protect us from the fear, and that makes us wish to seek that refuge. And so, that is how fear functions as the cause. Well, what does it that faith does then? Well, when we have sought a refuge that can protect us from the terrors out of fear, then we find that refuge, and if we wish to go to that for refuge, then that it is faith that makes us wish to go for refuge. So for this reason, fear and faith are the two primary causes of going for refuge. Now, when we discuss faith here, then faith here means the faith of belief.
니나야 겹스 가르쳐다지 이나야 다지 이식이 되버좀더 마세베 당 아주기 깜주기 게르디 야하게 돌려야 돼 아주는 이게 다들 가차미스라는 가차미스아들 드로에 된다는 줄 알았어. 마시는 가서 겹스 드로스 안에 이제 제대로 좀 해봐. 가서에 이체가 좀 해봐.人이 제 깜내 대다가 공방 오늘도 제발 대외기 로시고 그랬어. 깜내 대다 살아야 로르데 로시. 드레인 주스탄에 디주젠데네 가서에 이체가 좀 많이 봐. 덜도데 간다. 이체가 좀씩 다 당보다 이체가 고로 봐. 다 인비네야. 다 이체에 제래야. 아니 이체가 좀씩이 이 침벌 마셔 봐. 아니 이체가 난신게다니 오늘 저녁에 가서에 지금 타다를 쳐가지고 고유예비입니다.人이 네. 지금 타다를 쳐에 공방 때 톡고를 마다 베게 안다가스 가서지 가서다지 현시 겹스 땜바 잠시거다 지금 타다를 겹터서야 돼 깔아 하고 싶어. 근데 인도사人이 지금 매번에 저거에 인도사네 안 타도 되다 원되게 대박고 왔다 원되게 대박서마로人이 짬내 대다가 공방 된도 녀네人이 지금 타다를 쳐외기 딱 공방 되지 토야 된도 녀네 공방 되지 토바지 고요 대 톱소나 오늘 저녁에다 人이 가서다지 지금 타다를 쳐서 야탐바 지금 타다를 쳐서 하되 용토요.
Now, when we go for refuge, the faith is not just a question of faith. It's not merely a question of belief. And so in Sanskrit, we say gacchami. So gacchami means I go. So we need to go someplace. And it's not just enough to believe. It's not enough just to merely have a belief. Instead, if we are in order to achieve protection for ourselves, we ourselves need to manifest the state of the sources of the refuge. We need to achieve that state. We need to go to achieve that state ourselves. So belief on its own is not enough. Of course, at first we have to have that belief, but that belief we shouldn't be satisfied for that belief, because just merely having a belief will not be able to protect us from that. We need to go to that state where we will be free from all, or be liberated from all the dangers of samsara. So we have to achieve that state of freedom for it ourselves. It would be difficult for anyone else to provide us the protection from that, and so we need to go ourselves to achieve that state. So of course we have to have faith, belief in the beginning, but then based on that we need to seek. We need to strive to achieve that state of freedom from all sufferings ourselves, and only then will we be able to be truly protected. When we achieve that state, then we will be liberated from all the fears. We will be 100% liberated from all those terrors of samsara.
그래서 타반되게 가살이야. 지다다 대바 숨샤도. 원래 대바 당에 대바 이체에 대바 넘어 숨샤도. 네, 대바 쪼디 원되기 대바 탄되기 딱 원되기 대바디. 네, 대베 대바서나 원되기 대바디. 대바 쪼디.
And so we have to have that wish to achieve liberation. When we talk about faith, we talk about three types of faith: sincere faith, the faith of belief, and the faith of longing. But among them, the primary faith has to be the faith of longing. It's the faith of longing, or the faith of desire, the faith of a wish. And so that is the primary of the three types of faith.
지당기 저블링 돌려야 주로 망부지하다. 주로 망부지기 대바 숨기 나는 버지 이체에 대바데 개시하를 차르지 바지 용데 유세섬 정도 마신데 가란 유시다요 말바다 근데 바 최바지 시샤를 만도 계속 야타마 다 주면서 개민도 되미네 도스 바 최바지 시야비미나 비드르비 시사래 나무 상게 베게 로리아 땅 원데게 대바디 개시야 간다 타바 된도 년에 딱 간다라지 수수용외네 가수에다지 매주시야디 다디 개시합식 자리 유서에 드린 유산디 윤zel 되네 에너지 나와 임바 점식이다 군저소리 이제 여바 점식이 다 나와 신이 다 최바 신이 버 차도 갈아 하고샤 가지고 군저소리 이제 여바 점식 미셔봐 또 최바 오늘 전대 자고 유비미나 타바트 얘기로 나 쇼다지 규리게 베체지 대지가 또는 타바트 눈이야디 계속 있어
There are many different religions in the world, and for most of the religions in the world, what is most important is the faith of belief. Now, of course, I don't really know, I don't have much experience with it, but my guess is that what is most important for them is this faith in belief. It's not 100% not 100% certain, but that's my guess, is that is what is most important. However, in our Buddhist tradition, what is most important is the faith of longing. It is the faith of seeking liberation, putting the effort into it ourselves. And so, for that reason, if we just merely being a Buddhist and merely having belief in the three jewels is not enough to make you into a true Dharmic practitioners. So just belief in the three jewels itself is not alone, is not enough. We actually, in order to be an authentic practitioner, we have to seek liberation for ourselves. We have to have that faith of longing.
다드네 디 되겠다 가르쳐 여와다 때 되듯이 타게나는 손대학 겸주기 된 구예배 난다 여와다 땐데 따로 좀 휴신 신비 취르체 다드네 접순저 유 셔버들.
And so that is the discussion of the types of refuge and the supports or the working bases for going for refuge. So among the the 9 different categories listed in the Jewel Ornament of Liberation, the 9 different categories of going for refuge, this discusses the classification and the bases for it. We've talked about those. Then what follows that is the discussion of the sources of refuge.
야, 다 겹스저 유텔이야. 다 지단 군저숨 이 말에 다 군저숨 이내 다 군저숨게 남샤체요 뉴스나 군저숨도 가르질이야 군저숨 쓰레 시제 만드시 껴요 뉴스나 되는 년도기 대별로다 되는지 티버침벽이 로드 this 만라차로.
Now, the sources of refuge are the three jewels. Of course, they're the three jewels, but when we examine the presentation of the three jewels, when we explain what the three jewels are, then there are differences between the traditions of the listeners and the tradition of the great vehicle.
아니 되게 대별로도 시다다 갑들이야 티버 침비 겸로 시에베 거임비 인산 년도기 대별로도 시부시지 아지 슈네 슈가스케 아나 슈나지 참sam지 펜규 차블 배고 맞으브찬 디 망부시브찬 가라세디메 당부 군조숨사데 지 당부 군조숨 껴서 수수 삼례 나를 지 레라브르시 다데고 깔라하우시 쇠제 되는지 나 just drum singing 차라 닝가도 아들 인주산 다디 년도기 대회로도 바지 슈모가 차선들도 섬정도
So here we are primarily talking about going for refuge in the Mahayana. So it's maybe not necessary to talk about the sources of refuge according to the listeners. In fact, if I speak about them, if we discuss the sources of refuge according to the listeners, not only will it not help, it'll probably also confuse things more because there'll be so much information, and everyone will be wondering, what did he say? What was he talking about? And if that happens, then generally understanding the three jewels should be something easy, and then we're making it into really difficult. And when it becomes difficult, then there's a danger that we won't know what it is that we are going for refuge to. And so for that reason, it's not necessary to discuss the sources of refuge in the listener vehicle.
다들에 다들이 도나 아니 타르겐디 단동지 로 단동 마타야 로지스 고사스 정도 로직에 쓰면 더 로니 가르스나 다다디 아주 군슈디 가르디 아래게마서 방만 되지면 군슈디 군슈 급숨버서 팅 숨버디 주주디 다다 자세 자타면 되면 차요 말에 다이면 다다바 쳐봐 제대는 보지 로제마디 방만 되지면 군슈디 주주디 통동으로 자세를 선선을 정도 대차비미나 되네 타르겐디 대즈 도즈마도 시토 말에 시야가 두주디 유유차로 제단다 로제만 찾아 시토야 가버래 다 로데 제말이야 직전에 딱 가져요 다 드시시다 뭐 이제 만드는샤나 안지 버지버지 지금 존로면서 섬정도 강들에 드시시 마시는 얘디 조야 삼시나 당보네 데스데스 가져야지 마 롱되면 시체되나 시라시라 저기 롱돼야 집으면 수수 받대선 집버리도 수수 다 롱되면 집버리 다 드시데스르지 드시 아버지도 잡도요 말데 이미네야 남도 사변점 단들이 인사를 핀데 인사를 섬섬으로지 남도 사변점지 나만 드시를 겹이나 이제 편도 실사를 섬체 드리지가 도안에 제어를 드린 주산에 ana di zeldene samye gitil turshara shayi
Now, our teachings on the jewel ornament of liberation will it take at least one more year. Probably they'll take we won't be able to finish them next year. They'll take at least another year. And the reason for this is that next year, during our third Ardha Chema Winter Dharma Gathering, now we haven't fixed it 100% certain, but it looks like next year we'll probably only be able to have a short Winter Dharma Gathering. And if that is the case, then we will only be able to go through a little bit of the jewel ornament of liberation. So we would be able to go through a little bit of it and then continue with it the next year. In the following year, if I don't give much explanations, then we could complete this. But actually, when I started teaching from the Jewel Ornament of Liberation, I wasn't really particularly worried about finishing it, because it seems to me that if I merely give the reading transmission, then it's not a whole lot different than you reading it on your own. And so if I give some explanation, and of course my explanations aren't all that good, but with the explanation, then at least it'll sort of plant the seed of thought in your mind. You'll be able to think, maybe that's it, that's what it means. So it'll plant that seed of the thought, and I thought that it would be And then I thought that that would be more beneficial. And so for that reason, I have been giving these explanations. And so this is something you should just file in your minds.
karma judo. No. Karma judo ta 가르쳐. 오케이. 다지. 근데 땅오만의 쉬는 시에 지당에다 가르쳐를 더버서상이 좀 된데기 안에 가르쳐를 템바 진베기보다 지당기 템바 조사상 좀 된데가 가지고 이제 망발 공기 템바 테스트 비치 템바디 진기 템바 진기 데 템바 테스트 수가서에 공부시 주산 템바 송예는데 수가서 공부시 주산에 다 하다 미니도 데는 하코나를 데비나 지금도 가르쳐 라데 파메 버침이 주산에 하코나를 데비 임비냐 and temba yawachi karwaji yawachi no samara karsodaji tene midi karasa midi setong midi setong doing means and temba yurin ne ade kakabshu tene jusane ta nigegi ta lajiboya mai mijiboya mai bada lami nigal ba desh debi dearu tricene an layanane and yawachi mo deshili and it's temba nierte someone temba zingebe temba nierte tos nambre ta drin justane nangye dishya
When our teacher, the perfect Bhagavan Buddha, was thinking about whom he could entrust his teachings to, he thought to himself, in the future, whom could he entrust them to? Who would be able to uphold his teachings in the future? And thinking about that, there are both gods and humans. Now, if he entrusted the teachings only to the gods, then that would not work, because the gods often get careless. And so if he entrusted it only to the gods, that would not turn out well. But if he entrusted it only to humans, then that also would not work well, because humans have short lifetimes. So for that reason, he entrusted it to both gods and humans, not just gods alone, not just humans alone, but he entrusted the teachings to both gods and humans. And so among the gods, there are the four different gods, four different types of gods to whom he entrusted the teachings.
아니 유순심보래 내대 유순심보 어디에 유산에 되게 가수라다 다들이니
And among the humans, the person whom he entrusted the teachings to was the elder Mahakashyapa. So it was Mahakashyapa to whom he entrusted the teachings.
다 되나요? 지당기 temba tesarabdi 가수다지 게습로데 사마르바다지 다드르시레데 유비네 지당다 메이나네 temba 징게로데 조디 코로나바시 코로나바시부터 가라사나 gelong다 gelong마 게녜다 게녜마 대주산에 러중니 나 김바니 소시브라.
And so the person to whom he entrusted the teachings primarily was Mahakashyapa, or his regent may have been Mahakashyapa. But in general, in terms of humans, the teachings were entrusted to primarily to the four communities. So the four communities of bhikkhus, bhikkshunis, and lay men and women precept holders. And so these are the two types of monastics and the two types of householders.
별이야 개방하면 까담비 공부망부지 엔치즈바 냠구르 신체 까담비 공부망부 냠구르 신체 냠구르 주두산에 까담비 공부들 망치지 주마든데 스메레스 근데 루규야래 제상 바템바만 냠구르 저에 내걸이야 엔지 주마든데게 지 가르에 냠구르 저에 내걸이야 주마든데게 simche and jig kashwe gombatizu zigyocha tendegi luyushia.
In the old days in Tibet, there were many Kadampa monasteries, but later these declined. When they declined, then these monasteries mainly were passed over to nuns. And so when the teachings were in decline, then it was primarily the nuns who preserved and upheld the monasteries.
Tade kashiegi these dugan bizga tade dujar jiling zilchi. Tade jung burishia are. Ta ibne chojin ibne ta tendo kandare. Temba zinjere ta. Kandare temba nyamru dusane. And 공부지나는 가담에 공부망부지나는 자바시라 데니스케 매우체 공부 마시로시도산 근데 주마데스 용체 공부데스 봐 무튜니 지 가르에 진경으로체 디나로래야지 두체체 대유서래 대유산 단도나 템바진레 템바지마 데다 야부지레 마도베도 두자스케 쳐가 말해.
Some people see this as something bad, and they will tell long stories about this. But actually, if you look at it from one perspective, it was actually the nuns who upheld the teachings. When the Kadampa monasteries were in decline and there were very few monks, not enough monks there, then it was the nuns who came and upheld the monasteries. The nuns came and preserved them. And so from this perspective, it was upholding the teachings, and this is good.
Then come kunjin juve go that 뒤로 가서 개나 come kunjin juve 좀 주디마 임바쇼 봐 다 뒤로 가서 마시 come kunjin juve 가서 라샹 티야르 come kunjin juve 가들이야네 come 참에 자다 기름인데 가라마들지 그냥 킹거래 마치 킹거래 어디지 총발에 공 유산의 패배걸이야. 아니 공 가르쳐도 사나. 아니 유산 답의 신검을 자괴내게 저괴 많아서. 유산이야. 아니 갑자기 유산에 자외 공부 내 점묘 공부만. 점묘 공부만 해야지. 아니 점묘 공부 되지 나라래야 점모 되지야. 근데 왜 계준 상승 좀 되면 이제 망고도 없어. 그래서 말이야.
During the time of the 10th Karmapa, there was a great master named Karma Chakme. He was a great scholar and meditator. Many of you know about him. In any case, he went to central Tibet, and when he went to Utsang in central Tibet, he said that in Utsang the nunneries there are more nunneries and more and better nunneries than monasteries. And so when he went, there were more nunneries than monasteries, and they were also filled with nuns who were learned, venerable, and good. And so there are many such nunneries, he said.
디 홍거송들이야 차와체입니다. 갑디주산에는 가담베기 공부 왕부지 주만데 집에 로유시야 알아 안 까마 가담베 공부 주만데 집만는시 내주사네 공부 왕부지 주면 공부 차대요라 주면 공부 차반는시 주만데 소인비네야지 기준 상승 위에다 되지 예배로 주송요주사 땡땡기 오늘은 간다 때버 수신 지네 나들이 중요해버렸다가 참자 로유 나눠래야 그마고 나서 용 그래 니주 야고 중요이네 니주 오늘은 로유 나눠 배 니주 첨부 중요해이는데 다 로유 나눠 그마고 나서 용 그래 근데 주사나 간다야 갑자기 주사네 딘디지 다 간다 까마 참에 송들이 쉬어래
And so, when we examine what he said, then at that time in history, there were many Kadampa monasteries that the nuns had taken over and were preserving and upholding. And not only had the nuns taken over the monasteries, they had also there was also this history of them being learned, venerable, and good. And so in this way, they were properly upholding the teachers. And so, of course, this may not appear in the histories, but there are many different situations that here in history. And whether they appear in whether they are written down in the history books or not is a different matter. In any case, this is something that the great master Karma Chakme said.